Did you know that some Starbucks drinks will be great for your blood sugars while others will make it spike off the chart? I like the idea of a Starbucks drink, but as someone who's managing my blood sugars, I'm always nervous that it's going to spike my blood sugars. So in the name of science, I took it upon myself to test how much, and if at all, 8 different Starbucks drinks would spike my blood sugar. I had an idea what would happen, but I was also in for a few surprises. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what happened so that you can choose a Starbucks drink that won't spike your blood sugars. And I'll also show you how you can make your favorite Starbucks drink a little bit more blood sugar friendly. Because life can still be fun and flavorful, even if you're watching your blood sugars. My usual go-to when I visit a Starbucks is black coffee or unsweetened iced tea. Yeah, I know, wild, right? But for this experiment, I wanted to try some different options. Obviously, this isn't a clinical study, and how my blood sugars react might be a bit different from what you'll see. But I'll show you exactly what happened to my blood sugars. I am Christelle from Diabetes Strong, and I've been living with type 1 diabetes since 1997. And if you've been following along for a while, you know that I have to manage my blood sugars using insulin. If I don't, my blood sugars will go up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, and well, now you know. As mentioned, my go-to Starbucks drink is a coffee, a black coffee to be exact. So that was the first drink that I ordered for this experiment. A black coffee like the one I ordered does not have any carbs. However, it does have quite a bit of caffeine. And the thing is, caffeine can actually impact blood sugars for a lot of people, and I am one of those who will often see quite a bit of an impact. Before I show you what it did to my blood sugars, let me just quickly go over how I went about this experiment. To see if these drinks would spike my blood sugars, I did not inject insulin until an hour after drinking each of these Starbucks drinks. To get the most accurate picture, I stuck to the same routine. So I worked out in the morning, I then ordered my drink, always a tall, and I drank that on my way home, which is about a 20-minute walk. And then I would repeat that pattern for all of the 8 drinks. Although I didn't inject insulin until an hour after drinking the drink, the walk as well as the workout definitely helped with my blood sugar management. I found all the information on how many carbs are in there, the caffeine and such in the Starbucks app. But back to that black coffee. As I was walking home, I actually saw a bit of a drop in my blood sugars because of the walk most likely. And as I was sipping my coffee, my blood sugars evened out and stabilized. For this experiment, I didn't see any increase in my blood sugars, which probably was because of the walk. But I would say overall black coffee is a fairly blood sugar friendly drink. Okay, on to the next drink. For most of the remaining drinks, I went a little bit out of my comfort zone and I tried some that were a little bit more carby. I did cut off at 30 grams of carbs. I didn't want to go higher than that because that's, well, at least to me, that's already a lot. Can you guess what happened? If you guessed that some of these drinks made my blood sugars shoot up, then you're absolutely right. But actually, some of these drinks were fairly blood sugar friendly as well. The next drink that I tried was a cappuccino. So that was a 1 shot of espresso and it was 2% milk. I don't enjoy milk that much, so that was not really a pleasure drinking, but that drink had 10 grams of carbs and those all come from the milk. I think a lot of people underestimate how milk can impact blood sugars. It has lactose, that's a sugar, so it will impact blood sugar, and that's what it did for me. I did see a spike up 20 milligrams per deciliter before it came back to baseline. Had it not been for my walk home, I don't think it would have come down. It would have settled at the plus 20 milligrams per deciliter. But because of that walk, I saw a spike, but ultimately my blood sugars didn't change over time. A friend of mine kept raving about the caramel macchiato, so that was the next one I tried. This was a very sweet drink. It is 1 shot of espresso, it's 2% milk, it's 2 pumps of vanilla syrup, and then a caramel drizzle. And it did have enough carbs that I was expecting quite the impact on my blood sugars. And I did see an increase. Over the 40 minutes from I drank the drink, my blood sugar shot up 100 milligrams per deciliter. It was really interesting though that after that 1 hour and I was about to take my insulin, my blood sugars dropped a little bit. And then they settled at 80 milligrams per deciliter, higher than my starting point. Another drink that was suggested by a friend was a pink drink. So that's not a coffee, but apparently it's very popular. And I guess it is pretty and pink. I didn't enjoy it too much though. I found it to be, well, fairly bland. It's a coconut milk base, and then it has dried strawberries, it has some sort of fruit sweetener, as well as crushed ice. And with 22 grams of carbs, I did expect quite an impact on my blood sugars. It super quickly spiked my blood sugars, 50 milligrams per deciliter, but then it kind of came down a little bit again, and it stabilized only 20 milligrams per deciliter, higher than my baseline. I found that a little weird. There was only 20 milligrams per deciliter. I was expecting way more, but I didn't enjoy this drink quite enough to redo the experiment. After trying all these new drinks, I wanted to go back to a true and tested one. It's super refreshing and it does not impact my blood sugars. It's the iced passion tea. You used to have to ask to get it unsweetened, but now that is the default. I did cheat a little bit and I ordered a venti, so that is the large one. And for that size, I add 3 packages of stevia in the raw. And as expected, I did not see any blood sugar impact at all. I know stevia in the raw has a little bit of dextrose, but it's so little that it doesn't impact my blood sugars. What's been the common denominator for these 5 drinks is the relative low fat content. All had less than 6 grams of fat and most had none. So I figured I'd also try some drinks with a little bit of a higher fat content. The reason for that is, well, fat adds a bit of flavor, but fat also impacts how blood sugars are going to be impacted. So you want to look at not just the carbs, but also the fat content. I started out by trying a cafe mocha. That was a bit of a weird drink to me. It is 1 shot of espresso, it's 2% milk, it's mocha sauce, and then it's whipped cream on top. It tasted a bit like a thin hot cocoa with a hint of coffee and some whipped cream. It's fairly hefty on the carbs. It's 33 grams of carbs. I felt a bit cheated. As I'd said up front, I had aimed of a maximum of 30 grams of carbs, and when I looked it up in the app, it had said 27 grams. But the thing is, what you see on the front page in the app, that's only the grams of sugar, and that is 27. So it's something to be mindful of. But what's interesting with this drink is the combination of fat and carbs. And here's what happened. I didn't see a spike, but rather a slow increase of 20 milligrams per deciliter for the first 40 minutes. And then my blood sugar shot up and stabilized in total 90 milligrams per deciliter higher than my baseline. Fat slows down digestion and can reduce the spike and make it more of a slow increase, but often you'll see a second increase later on. And then I tried a latte with 2 pumps of gingerbread syrup. Yeah, I know, super random. This was not the drink I had ordered, but it turned out that they were out of the latte that I had ordered, so I had to kind of think on the spot, and for whatever reason I ended up with gingerbread. Since this was a bit of an improvised drink, it's not something where I could just look up the carb count in the app. I had to do a bit of digging. Usually if you order a drink that's on the menu, in the app or online, you can see exactly what's in it, including the carbs. But for the improvised ones, or the ones that you create yourself, you have to do a bit more digging, aka Googling. Figuring out how much is in a cafe latte is fairly easy since it's on the menu. For the syrup, I had to dig a little bit more. And I found that there's around 40 calories, 10 grams of carbs, and 1 pump of syrup. The base recipe at Starbucks for most of the lattes is 3 pumps of syrup, but since I didn't want to go over 30 grams of carbs, I'd only asked for 2. And what happened was that I saw a slow increase as I was walking home. And as I got home, my blood sugar shot up and ended up at 75 milligrams per deciliter, higher than my baseline. And that's not super surprising given that there was 35 grams of carbs in that drink. A straight up cafe latte, so that's without any pumps of syrup, would only have been 15 grams of carbs. So that would have been a way more blood sugar friendly option. I could have made it even more blood sugar friendly had I swapped out the cow's milk for example, almond milk. Okay, on to the last drink of this video. And I actually enjoyed this one so much that I tried to make it a bit more blood sugar friendly. I'll show you after. What I got was a white chocolate creme frappuccino. It's a blended drink, and like the pink drink, it has nothing to do with coffee. But dang, that was yummy. It tasted pretty much like a milkshake. And that's basically what it is. It is whole milk, it is frappuccino syrup, it's 2 pumps of white chocolate sauce, crushed ice, and it's topped with whipped cream. That's obviously not a health drink, but I could have one as a dessert once in a while. My blood sugar response was very similar to when I drank the cafe mocha, in the sense that I start with a slow and steady increase, and then boom, I had that second wave where it shoots up. My blood sugar stabilized around 100 milligrams per deciliter, higher than my baseline. That's quite a bit, but that's also what's to be expected when you have almost 30 grams of carbs and no insulin. And I did really like this drink, so I tried to make it a little bit more blood sugar friendly. But even when I swapped the cow's milk out for almond milk, I reduced the pumps of chocolate sauce to 1, it still made my blood sugars shoot up. So in conclusion, some Starbucks drinks are going to be absolutely awful for blood sugars. They're going to spike your blood sugar, so you have to be really mindful when choosing your Starbucks drink. And remember, even something as simple as coffee with milk can have a significant impact on blood sugars. But there are also some really good Starbucks options for people who live with diabetes or anyone who's just watching their blood sugars. And there's also the option of making substitutions to your drinks so that they become more blood sugar friendly. I think some solid ways to make your Starbucks a little bit more blood sugar friendly is to substitute your type of milk. So for example, go from cow's milk to almond milk, substitute sugars for sweeteners, and reduce the amount of syrup that you add to your drink. What is your favorite Starbucks drink? And is it one that you have tailored so that it does not spike your blood sugars? I'd love to know some good recipes. Leave me a comment down below. If you're keeping an eye on your blood sugars and you want to learn some tips on how to lower them, check out this playlist. Also, if you want to see more from me, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss a thing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.